Okay. So today, as Pedro has highlighted, we are going to share on African practices, not per se African, but different cultural diversity in relation to marriage. I wanted to share with you in regarding to marriage, death, and rainmaking. But during my discussion, I discussed my when I was doing my research, I discovered that there is a lot. Marriage is a broad topic across all cultures. As we all know, UAA promotes cultural diversity. So today I'm going to present a topic of culture in relation to marriages. So we'll start by defining what is a culture. Can someone just tell me, in your own understanding, in your own opinion, what do you understand by a culture? What is a culture? Let's just start. It will be more of an interactive discussion. I'm not going to speak for myself, please. I'm not going to speak alone tonight. We are going to speak together. What is culture? What do you understand? To be, there is no answer which is wrong or right. This is just an open discussion. What is culture? Pedro, you might assist me if someone raises their hand just so that there might be order as we are asking.
Yes, yes.
What is a culture?
I just asked for that. If you can raise your hand, then I know you want to talk and I can bring you in. So Blessing wants to come in. And then afterwards, Rosemary. Blessing, you need to unmute yourself. You are muted. You need to press the icon with the microphone.
Okay. Good evening again.
Good evening.
Evening.
Okay. Okay. We can say culture encompasses behavior, um, knowledge, customs, everything about us. That is our culture.
Thank you. That's a good answer. Anyone else to share his or her mind?
Yes, we have Rosemary. Rosemary, you are muted. Would you like to come in? Yes.
I think, or in my own understanding, culture will be what
Can you
we
hear me?
believe in. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, I believe culture, in my own opinion, is what I believe in. It can be my religion, it can be just my tradition, my general behavior, where I come from. That's what I see culture as.
Thank you, Rosemary. I'm seeing a hand.
We
Yeah.
have Charity as well. Charity?
Yeah, so if I recollect, in school, we did vocational studies, and I remember culture. A simple definition we're given is a way a group of people live.
A way a group of people live. Wow, that's an interesting definition. Thank you so much, Charity. Thank you so much, ladies, for your participation. All your answers are correct. I'll just define it as the way you have said it. Culture, it comprises the ideas, the customs, and social behavior of a particular people or a society. So we are talking of ideas, customs, social behavior of a particular people or a society. Culture also can be defined as a set of values, belief systems, practices, and objects that people share in common and that define them as a group. For a culture to be a culture, we are sharing same ideas, same values, same belief systems. If I can take you to Zimbabwe, I'm a Shona, I come from Zimbabwe. We have a belief system that if you are passing, you are walking in, well, let me just say, if you are married, let me take in relation to marriage, since this is our topic. If I'm married, as I am married today, when I'm giving my husband food, I don't stand, I kneel down. And you find it in almost all homesteads because we share certain cultures. I'm not even told. This is the way I see my mom treating my father. And that culture has been cultivated in me for quite a long time. So these are certain values, beliefs, practices, and objects that people share in common and that defines them as a group. So today we are going to discuss different practice, marriage cultures, or belief systems. And we are going to discuss their similarities. You know, we come from different cultures. Your culture might be different. If we share the same culture, thank God, we are going to find the similarities, the differences, and their impact to our day-to-day lives or to our communities at large. So, so I'll be focusing more on the Shona or the Zimbabwean culture, and you'll be focusing on your own country and your own culture, and we'll integrate this cultural diversity. Are we all together? Understood?
Yeah.
You can just put a sign, say, good. Thank you so much. So I will start by saying sorry. So in our Shona culture, there is a saying that goes, Ro'oranai ve matongo. This is the Shona language. I know you don't understand it, but I would rather say it in English and say it means marry from your own culture. Ro'oranai ve matongo means marry from your own culture. Why do they want us to marry from your own culture? What is your thinking? Why should I marry someone from my own culture? The one whom we share values, same ideas, same belief systems. I just want your opinion, your understanding. They would say marry from your own cultural group. Why? Why would they do that? Can someone just say wants to someone says to make life easier? Good.
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend has a boyfriend.
So that when you are quarreling, you people will be speaking the same language.
Once when you are quarreling, you understand each other better. Wow, I love that answer, Rosemary. That it sounds interesting. No language barrier when you are quarreling. Hey, you understand each other on a higher level. Another one to contribute as well. Why should we marry from the same social group?
There is no cultural barrier because you have the same culture.
No cultural barriers. Yes, very true. Another contribution.
I think Muchi wants to come in.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna give the same answer that Raymond just gave. So we've spoken before. When we come here, we get what we're calling culture shock.
Okay.
Yes. So that still implies, even though you are marrying from within your own country. So, for example, you said you are Shona. In Zimbabwe, we do have Ndebele. So those two cultures will automatically clash.
They are different. That's very true.
They are different. So the intercultural marriages were meant to, one, protect the values and to safeguard the marriages, and also at some instances to protect the wealth. Yeah, so those may be three of the many different reasons people would be asked to marry within. Yes. And also to protect family and cultural secrets.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very profound. Yes.
Mm-hmm. There are many, but for progress' sake, those will be from me. If somebody else has others, we can.
Okay. Thank you so much for all your contributions. That's very true. They said you should marry from your own culture because you share the same values, same ideas. So if you are a new bride in the new family, you can easily fit in because you know the expectations of your husband. You know the expectations of that family because you share the same ideas. You share the same values. You know, if I have to give my husband sadza food, I kneel down. So there's not going to be a problem because it's the same culture. That is same culture. So there will be no problem. You can easily fit in into that new family. And more so, to avoid cultural erosion of both cultures. You are maintaining the same culture. He is maintaining the same culture. Imagine there is cross-cultural. You marry Ndebele, you marry Shona. You come into the house. Which culture should we maintain? Is it the Ndebele or the Shona?
And it's not good for the children.
Yes. So at the end of the day, there is so much confusion. Maybe you are now practicing half Shona, you are now practicing half Ndebele so that you can live peacefully in that house. But there is no culture that is maintained at this moment. So to avoid such confusion in homes, they said marry from your own culture. Marry from your own social group. That's why they said it. But look now in these instances. Is this culture still viable? Can we still marry from our own cultures? Taking instances, the changes that are happening around us. We are now moving from one country to another, searching for greener pastures. We are now moving from the rural. In Zimbabwe, there are rural areas and the urban. People are now migrating from the rural to the urban, looking for jobs. And when you go to that urban setup, things have changed already. I've left my house in Zimbabwe and now I'm now in the UK. Maybe I'm not married. Should I carry my culture on top of my head and bring it here? Is it still viable to maintain those cultures in this world? Is this what is happening? You know, where can I get a Zimbabwe? Maybe 1 in a million there. So these cultures, you see, they are becoming very impossible to mean. There is smaller chances of me to find someone from my same culture and to maintain due to our modern day living. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to discuss now in detail the different types of marriage practices in Shona. That's where we are going to discuss. If in your own culture you find similarities, please write them down so that when you open this discussion, you can pick note that in our culture, there's this similarity, there's this difference, you note even the impact, it's negative or a positive impact. Okay, so I'm going to start with Kugaranaka. I will say a Shona word and then I will pronounce it in English, what it means. Kugaranaka, maybe you've got also a different word in your own language. Maybe if I say it in English, you can easily recognize, this is the type of marriage in our own country. So in Zimbabwe, we say Kugaranaka. Kugaranaka means wife inheritance. A wife is inherited like property.
What?
Yes, that is Kugaranaka. Please write it down. I'll open this discussion once I have done this. This is Kugaranaka. That's wife inheritance in English. What happens under wife inheritance is whereby, sorry. It is a culture or a practice whereby on the death of a husband, my husband dies, I'm a wife, I'm now a widow. After the burial of my husband, I'm supposed to choose a new husband among the family of my husband, among his brothers or his cousins. So you take a bowl of water, you look around whom you find attractive to you at that moment. It's not a choice whether you love him or you don't, because they want to protect that culture, the same values, the same norms. And because you are having children with their brother, they believe that the younger brother or the bigger brother will take good children, take care of these children in a better way than another foreign. So that widow must choose a husband from among the family of the deceased. That's why it is called the wife inheritance. Are we clear on that one? You can just say put a shop. If you want me to explain it further, you can raise your hand. I hope you are noting it so that if you want, if it's in your culture, you practice the same. Some are shocked. It's like, what? Yes, it's we are experiencing it now in our culture. So if your husband dies and you've got children, you hold your dish of water, you go around about, and then you give to the younger brother. He washes his hands. It's a sign that he's saying, I will take care of you and the children. And then so that they believe that this brother, because his brother's child are his as well, they are his flesh and blood, you will take good care of him. Mr. Muchi.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this because also I come from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And I'm thinking it is also important to note that there is also husband inheritance.
Yes, it goes both ways.
Yes. So if my wife passed away, God forbid, my in-laws, they are obligated to replace with immediate effect. So that is also protecting the child bloodline and also the wealth and the culture. So it's a two-pronged sword. It goes both ways. Wife can be inherited and husband also can be inherited. Yes. But that's only in the Shona culture. Same in Zimbabwe, but only in the Shona culture. We have other cultures which may be discussion topic for other days, but today is the Shona culture.
Do you want to? Yes.
Yes, I just want to know if this practice is still in place up till now. I mean, this practice that of inheriting wife, is it up till this moment, people still do it?
Yes.
Yes, it's still existing.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
You know, like in Nigeria, we have a part of Nigeria that practice this type of culture. But you know, the introduction of Christianity has reduced some of these things, because it's like, if I'm to marry, my husband dies and I'm to marry somebody in the family, it's like, maybe I've been eyeing the person all the while now. I'll just be somehow.
And you are praying for the person to die.
So yes, in some cases, it's not uncommon to find that soon after the ritual or whatever the ceremony, people will start talking and say, I don't know. They have been seeing each other before. So those things happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, but some of them, they're just brand new because it's a culture. Things have to be done.
Yes. True.
Yeah, you may even be chosen by a brother who was born here in the UK. I've never seen them. But you said, is it being still practiced?
Yeah.
So culture is a diverse system. Yeah, culture changes and it's dynamic. So not diverse, it's dynamic.
It end up being an abuse, especially to the girl child. That's what the impacts we are going to discuss further. The negative impacts they are having on especially on in most cases, a girl child or a woman is disadvantaged in such kind of decisions. So at the end of the day, in the cultures, the age limit, as you were saying, other religious groups, they don't even mind even if it's a minor. So you end up seeing that these marriages will be more of an abuse, because if there is it's called in Shona Chimuta Mapiwa, whereby a husband is taking the little sister of the deceased, and a girl child, an 18-year-old, just to inherit the wife so that she can take care of his children, of which maybe his children are even over 30 years. But they just come and do a wifely duty to an 75-year-old man. So there is a kind of an abuse in these cultures. That's why you see some of these people in social groups, they are now moving away from them. As much as we want to protect the same cultures, as much as we want to protect the ideas and the norms, but at the end of the day, they've got a negative impact on most children, especially the girl child. On culture, a girl child, when back then, a girl child was not educated, was not taken seriously to be educated, because they want only to be able to read or write letters from the husband. And they believe that the girl child was going to get married into a new family. So why should we invest ourselves in a girl child? Why should we educate her while she's going to get married and carry another man's surname? So back then, they wouldn't consider or take note of a girl child. That's why if she reaches grade 7, she could read letters or write a letter to the husband. That was enough for a girl child. And if a woman is married and could not bear a child in the marriage, whether it's the woman or the man, it doesn't matter. If in that marriage there is no child, that the woman was at a disadvantaged side, she was sent back home. No medical test whatsoever to prove that she's the one who's got a problem or not. What they will do is just they will send this woman, make her feel like she's not woman enough because she has failed to conceive in that family. But in this instance, we don't even know the problem. Is it on the male or on the female side? But as long in the family there is no child, it is a woman's problem. If a woman as well only give birth to more girls and there is no a boy child, that woman was considered to be a disgrace as well. She was also treated like she's not a woman enough, because a girl child was not considered to be of greater importance. So the man was now then forced to enter into a polygamous marriage, whereby a man is now allowed to take as many wives as he wants. Are we together on this one?
Very.
So it was considered also to have many wives in the Shona culture is considered to be as a sign of power and a sign of wealth. And also, they would say it was also a sign of socio-economic purposes. They believe that large families enhance large workforces and enhance the economy of the family. So the bigger family, we have a bigger workforce, and then they enhance the economy of the family. Let me go to another marriage practice, which is called kutizira, or to elope. Kutizira. To elope, it just means to run away secretly in order to get married. It was another way of getting married. It's another way, even in Zimbabwe, even today, some are even practicing it. It's a cultural practice that happens when a woman gets pregnant before the fiance or the boyfriend or the groom is not ready to pay lobola. It's a boy and a girl, and the girl, in the event of dating, the girl found herself pregnant, and the guy is not yet prepared to pay lobola or dowry. So in Shona culture, if you get pregnant before the marriage, you are no longer allowed to live with your parents.
To discuss how
Kuzvarira. Kuzvarira is a traditional customary marriage practice whereby a girl is already married even before she is born. What it means is mostly it was done by poor families, whereby maybe that year it didn't rain well, so there's a rich man in your homestead. Your father then goes to a rich man and begs for 5 bags of maize and said, borrow me these 5 bags of maize. When my wife gets pregnant and give birth to a girl child, that will be my payment for 5 bags of chibage, of milini. Musengabere involved abduction of the girl. What happens on this marriage practice is whereby a man who identifies the girl or a woman of his choice, he then targets the girl when she goes to the river to fetch water or goes to the forest to gather firewood. Then that guy, when he sees that girl that she is alone, the guy will then kidnap the girl against their will. She is by herself in the forest collecting firewood. And this guy identified that she loves the girl, but she doesn't have the guts to approach her. Or she has whatever, I don't know. But it's a marriage whereby the girl is then kidnapped by the guy. And it is considered to be a marriage practice, that abduction, against her will, which is the most acceptable way of getting married in Shona culture, which is, we are saying, asking for woman's hand in marriage. You are asking for a woman's hand in marriage. So this is the most acceptable marriage union. It mostly carries the parental blessing.
We enjoyed today. Thank you for all the all the points of view. In here, we are allowed to say what we think. So that's very important. And it was a pleasure to share this with you. So we'll come back to you regarding when the next session is going to be, the next episodes of this saga. Yes, thank you so much to everyone. And we'll see you next week.